And we are live once again. Let's welcome Tracy. Thanks for coming and sitting down and talking to me today.
Mhm.
Why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit about you?
Uh, my name is Tracy Ogden. I'm 56. Lived in Columbia since the late 80s.
Wow.
Came here for college and basically never left. Um,
And you still haven't figured out what you're going to do with your life.
and I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with my life. Yeah.
You
I
have
don't
time.
know.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college at?
Mizzou.
Mizzou.
Mhm.
Okay. What were you studying there?
English.
What drew
English
you to
literature.
Literature.
Um, I don't know. It was doable. I was fairly good at it. It, yeah, I liked psychology too.
So was it kind of a back and forth
Yeah,
sometimes between the two of them?
yeah.
You're like, which one do I want to ultimately
hmm
go into? English won out.
It did because of the number of remaining credits required to complete a degree.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Was there a specific author or several authors you admired back in the day that thought, that paved the way, so to speak,
Uh,
for you to say, like, English literature? That's
not particularly. I focused more on poetry. I don't know. I quite liked Whitman. Um, Huge fan of.
Leaves of Grass, all that.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a shit poet, but I admire it.
Well, it turns out me too. So, doing the creative writing of poetry sequence didn't made it abundantly clear to me that I don't really have what it takes to be a poet.
I wonder if Whitman thought the same thing. He was
I
like,
don't
I'm a
think
shit poet
I
too.
don't
You
think
think he knew?
so.
He was...
I don't. No, because I think even if they are shit poets, they're compelled to create it.
Right. They can't stop.
They
you because
can't not do that.
Right.
And I can easily not do that. I'm great at not doing things.
Sure. Okay, so went to college,
Yep.
graduated from Mizzou,
Yep.
and what kept you in Columbia?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it just felt like home.
Does it still feel like that?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It still feels like home. It's such a Goldilocks town. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too far from everything, but not too busy. You get a lot of the perks of a larger city without a lot of the downsides. I have a 6-minute commute.
So not too overwhelming, not too isolating,
Right.
just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that very much myself too. Whenever I travel anywhere, bigger, I'm like, whoa, I don't think I could handle this all the time.
All the time. It's exciting and fun occasionally to visit, but I wouldn't want to live in a larger city all the time. It just seems very wearing.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been here for the better part of about 40-ish years then.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
I know.
I moved around every 2 years when I was younger,
That's
so I kind of have wanderlust these days as an adult because of it.
No, I grew up like my parents lived in the same house. I mean, they still own. My remaining parent, my surviving parent, still owns the house I grew up in,
Where's that at?
Nevada, Missouri.
Oh, okay. Right on. I don't know, I've been there. How far away is that?
Like 3.5, 4 hours, depending on the route you take.
I was going to ask you what compelled you to come to Mizzou, but I guess that makes sense if you're...
I grew up in in the largest town in a rural county in southwestern Missouri. And, I don't know, and this was the biggest, biggest university, the state university.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I had lots of scholarships, so it was essentially
Affordable.
free.
Free,
Yeah.
yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me then, so after you graduated, what was your journey like? I mean, journey within, right, the community, right? But
Um, I don't know. I came to college. I found my tribe. I made a circle of friends. I fell in love. Um, we were together. Well, we got married when we were 25. Um,
what did you love most?
hmm?
What did you love most, or attracted to the most?
Uh-huh. Oh, he was so clever.
Like witty?
Yeah, and bright and insightful and
Where'd you meet him at?
um at at school. Let's see, where did I meet him? We lived in the same dorm. We lived in the same dorm. And I think the third floor was having a party, and his friend met my roommate, and then we all got introduced. And
Rest is history.
yeah.
Was he an English guy, or what did he say?
No. Well, philosophy, art history. He ended up getting his PhD in art history, and he's a professor at Creighton now. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Let's move forward a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you were married to him for a while.
Yeah, we were. I don't know. We were together from 87 forward. Married in 93. And then divorced in 99, I think. 99 or 2000, I don't remember which.
Like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Was there anything about the relationship that just ultimately wasn't working? Just kind of different people, different goals?
yeah, yeah. I mean, he just didn't want to be married to me anymore. So
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
kind of a deal breaker.
Sure.
I don't know. He just felt more. I think he felt like we were on, very different paths.
Did you feel that way?
Well, I knew things weren't great, but I didn't think it was that bad. But,
Yeah.
but you can't make someone want to share your life.
Sure. Neither person deserves that, right?
Right.
Ultimately.
Yeah. You can't force someone.
Yeah. Okay. So, you got divorced. And,
Yeah.
what did you do after that?
Well, I drank a lot. I drank a lot. And then I don't know, I got better. I got a little apartment and I made new friends, and because he basically kept the majority of our friends in the divorce. So
new friends that helped pull you out of it.
yeah,
What was
Yeah.
I
I don't know. I just started over. It just seemed really really difficult. Trying to, like, okay, well, now what? Now I'm 30. And I thought I had a plan. But lots of people end up at 30 and thought they had a plan, and
It's
turns out
25 for me.
yeah, I was not unique. It's okay. I'm not that special, really. It's just everybody's got a story. And that's what you do. You keep going. You do something new. And so I did. I don't know. I went back to school for a minute and I decided that really wasn't it either. I didn't really want to be in grad school. I just knew that was a thing I could do. I could go to school.
Place to be, community.
It was a place to be. I could, I could do this. But I was tired of living like a student. I was tired of being poor. I was tired of, tired of that. So I got a job at the phone company doing retail sales because I could do retail. Done that before. Only this was a nice union job, retail sales. So I made okay money and I could live alone and I could live my life. And I was starting to get my footing, and then I met my second husband. And
from the friend group?
A friend of a friend of a friend. I don't know. He'd seen me around, apparently, at the phone company. And at a bar that we both frequented, and eventually he knew someone who knew me and introduced him to me, and every time I would be with him, I would have so much fun, and I didn't know the night to end. And then I would go home and I would say, all right, that's it, I'm going to break this off. I don't want to be dating anyone seriously. I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want a relationship. I don't want this right now. And then he would ask me out and I would go and I would have a great time and and we'd laugh all night. He kept me. He was so witty and funny and silly, and I liked him. And not my type. And he was older than me, and I'm just like, this sounds like a lot of work. I don't want anything to do with this. I'm going to break up with him. And then he would ask me out again, and I would go. And eventually he just, in his words, he decided he was going to make himself as handy as the pocket on a shirt until I couldn't do without him.
Some of that wit.
Yep.
Humor.
Yep. And before I knew it, I couldn't do without him.
So what made you go from not wanting it to just accepting and falling into it?
I wish I knew. I mean, there were a dozen different ways we weren't entirely compatible, But my God, that man made him laugh. And he was smart. He was good with the banter. We could riff off of each other. It was good. And so then he moved in with me after a couple of years, and then we bought a house and owned a yard, so we had a wedding in it. And then, even though we were, pretty old to be starting to have kids, we decided to, stop trying not to have kids. So between the two of us, we had 3 marriages and no children. He'd been married twice before, I'd been married once, and, we were 30, 37 and 45 when we got married. And I fell pregnant within the week. So my tiny little starter house, it was immediately too small. And so then we had a baby, and then we had another baby a couple of years later, and he loved his girls.
What was that? What was that? Was there something about starting a family a little bit later in life that you feel was beneficial, or
Oh yeah, yeah,
challenging,
absolutely.
or something in the middle?
I mean, if you do it when you're young, you don't know what you don't know. You have the fearlessness of youth and the you still have the notion that you're 6 feet tall and bulletproof and that everything's gonna work out great. It'll all be okay, and you have energy when you're young. So it's harder when you're pushing 40 or over 40 to deal with newborns and survive on very little sleep. That's hard. I don't know. It was also hard because we didn't have friends with small kids. Anyone our age, their kids were, nearing high school, or we didn't have like a peer cohort of kids. And even once we got our kids in daycare or into preschool, like the other preschool parents were a decade younger than us. We didn't have a lot of family around, so we really, really relied on each other. And only on each other.
How did that impact your relationship?
Well, I mean, it could be challenging. He was a stay-at-home parent from the time we had kids, because I had a job that had good benefits, would cover his health insurance and cover the kids, and so he stayed at home. We didn't want to outsource watching our children because we'd waited a really long time to do this, and we didn't trust anybody else. And if we didn't have to.
How was he as a dad?
Great. I don't know. Ask my kids now. Your mileage may vary, but yeah, I don't know. He was a little too authoritarian. Could have been a little less of that. A little less my way or the highway.
Was there something about him that made him that his personality as a parent, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. He had memories of a happy childhood when he was young. He lost his dad when he was like 8, so the idea of wanting to make sure his kids didn't grow up without a dad was always a concern.
It's hard not to have a model to absorb, right, when you're in that stage.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. He was trained as a chef. He ran my house like he ran a kitchen. What?
Oh, it's a funny image, and
so. I don't know if you've been around any chefs, but they can be a little yelly sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be
I get that. I spoke with Dennis a few weeks ago.
a little arbitrary,
Makes sense.
Sometimes not the very best emotional regulation, but it's because there's care and precision put into everything he did, and he wanted to get it right. Always wanted to get it right. Wanted to do the best for those kids. And then by the time our youngest was entering kindergarten, he was getting ill. He had COPD. And
Can we describe that briefly?
yeah, it's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Like he would get lung infections, and his lungs didn't work as well year after year. And every time he would have a bout of bronchitis or pneumonia or something that would be a little cold for anyone else would turn to pneumonia for him, and he might end up being hospitalized. And so, I mean, his lungs were just vulnerable at that point. And so it was very difficult for him to breathe. And if you can't breathe, it's hard to move. It's hard to have any energy. It's hard to sleep well. It just, negatively impacts everything. So don't smoke, kids. But yeah, he was, moderately ill, but it was, we were kind of managing it. It's a long-term chronic illness. It's a slow decline. And we weren't, like end stage yet, but he was, toward the end, he was on oxygen. He had an oxygen concentrator machine in the house, and he would have, this little hose and cannula.
How long was it from when he was first diagnosed with this?
Oh, like, I don't know, we were 3 years in, but, we thought we had more time. He wasn't end stage yet, but he had basically the equivalent of an asthma attack. I mean, he had a sudden exacerbation, kind of a fit where it was difficult for him to breathe, and his blood oxygen levels dropped very low, and he collapsed. And I did CPR, and we called 911, and I got his heart pumping, but he was gone. So, yeah.
Was that something that your kids were present
to
see?
Yeah, it was. It was the first night of summer vacation. And we let them sleep on the big sectional sofa, stay up as late as they wanted, watch TV all night instead of going to bed at 8:30, which was their normal.
Where's the fun in that when you're...
Right, I know, but it's summer. So, yeah. All right, you guys can stay up as late as you want. We're going to bed, though, because we're tired. Keep it down. But you can watch TV, watch cartoons all night. I don't care. Sleep on the couch. And about, 2:33 in the morning, Martin wakes up and said he's not feeling well. He wanted to go into the living room and sit upright in this wing chair. It was easier for him to breathe in that position. I said, okay. So I helped him get his machine and the hose, and we wheeled it all down the hall. And by the time we get there, they're both kids laying on the couch, snoozing, and he just keels over right on the footstool, right in front of them, on them. And they wake up to my screaming and shouting instructions, and made the 12-year-old call 911, and the 9-year-old corral the dog and let the paramedics in, and I'm doing CPR, and it was horrible for them. And we're still dealing with the effects of that trauma. We do a lot of therapy.
What was that like? Was there any parallels to the feeling that you had previously? It's like you're at an age where you're like, I'm starting over.
Yeah, how do I do this? And I really didn't, I had no aspirations to be a single parent. None. That was not interesting. If I'd wanted to be a single parent, I'd had years of opportunities to do that. This was really hard. I felt like we were a good team, parenting wise.
So it wasn't just the day-to-day logistics of everything. It was even just sort of the spiritual side of, like, I'm meant to do this as a team, right?
Yeah, this was not the hitch I signed on for at all. And I don't know how to do this alone. I didn't remember how to cook. I hadn't cooked a meal practically in like 15 years.
You did all of that.
He cooked everything.
You could cook?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing he cooked?
Oh, let's see.
Or his favorite?
Yeah. Well, his favorite thing was a chili dog.
Okay.
But yeah, he could cook anything. I mean, he made chicken marsala for 40. On the day of our wedding, the heating element in our oven went out, and he was doing chicken marsala for 40 people. So he did it on top of the stove without an oven. Did it in small batches and transferred it to the chafing dish, and yep, still pulled it together on time. It was amazing. Yeah.
Chef?
He's a chef. I know. He was like, oh, damn, that, okay, plan B. I was like, what? I'm having a freaking meltdown. He was like, nope, get out of my kitchen. He just...
Into the wedding dress. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
no, he's just like, oh.
Be good to go soon.
Just made it, he made it work. I don't know. He was amazing. But yeah, he could prepare virtually anything. His favorite thing was a chili dog.
And now these responsibilities are thrust onto you.
Yeah. I mean, not that I, hate cooking or anything. I'm really out of practice. And he was the stay-at-home parent, so I don't know what the kid's day-to-day is like. I show up after work. I show up at dinner time, and then I take over, and I do homework and baths, and he got to tag out. But doing all of it, that was overwhelming.
Where did you work at the time?
At the time, I worked at the phone company still, in the retail store, so customer facing.
You stayed there still for a little while after?
I did for a little bit, until it became obvious that I can't do this. I can't. There is no one to watch my kids and drive my kids, and
They were still small enough.
they were still small enough.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah. And, we had life insurance, so I didn't have to work, so I quit. And I stayed home for a year and a half. And we just kind of figured out our new normal.
So in the course of that year and a half, what did you discover about yourself?
I don't know. I don't know.
discovered how fiercely I would fight for my kids. How, no matter how hard it is, I had to keep going for them. So if it was just me, I would have not been nearly as fully functional.
Get somebody to depend on you,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps keeping you grounded in those moments.
It sure does. Yeah, and so then we, just figured out what comes next. Figured out how to roll with the changes. And there are always changes. Everything's always changing all the time. But as long as the love and respect stay constant, we can do hard things. We can get through it. We'll always get through it.
So what changed? What came next?
What came next? What changed? Everything changed. Yeah, I had a job. Eventually the kids both transitioned away from the school they had been at. We fought a lot of depression and anger and school refusal and poor attendance, and really negatively impacted their learning. So I just backed off. I figured, you know what, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. And then COVID happened, which also was depressing and negatively impacted their learning, and we're still trying to figure it out. I don't know. My academically gifted kids could barely get out of bed and didn't want to go to school, and ultimately is a high school dropout now. I have a 19-year-old with basically a 7th grade education, but we're working on it. And he's coming back around to himself.
Was there something that helped him to
Just
get there?
Time and patience and my willingness to admit that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Ask forgiveness from my children. And
What do they need to forgive you for?
I don't know, being too rigid, being not understanding what they were going through. I don't know. We spent a couple of years there fighting every day about my kid not being able to go to school, not wanting to go to school, and it's not, it wasn't that he didn't want to, it's that he was not able. And I wasn't always very patient with that. I don't know. So we've seen a lot of doctors, and we've had a lot of therapy, and we've had a lot of diagnoses, and I understand a lot more about all sorts of neurodivergence now, and we've gone through lots of medications, and I don't know.
seems like when people fight, it's oftentimes something petty, right? And then there's a lot more under
Yeah.
the surface that you have to,
Yeah.
as you say, put a lot of effort and process into
A
understanding.
lot of processing.
So do you think then that they need to forgive you of that, or is it more
Oh no,
just-
it's been an ongoing process. The forgiving, it's a constant repairing trust when it's damaged, and that never stops.
Were they fair to you at this time? I mean,
Well, I
we're
mean,
talking about kids, right?
Yeah,
So
they're
I
kids.
understand
They're
that.
not always able to be.
Sure,
So, no, no, they weren't. But also, they're kids. So, they get a grain of salt on that. And developmentally, I mean, they're doing their best. And when I learned more about, what ADHD looks like, what the autism spectrum looks like, what my own neurodivergence looks like, I'm understanding it better. We're all understanding each other more and better. I don't know, I'm just trying to launch fully functional humans who are equipped with what they need to make their way in the world.
How are they doing?
Pretty good, I think. We're getting there. I don't know. Maybe not on the timeline that I grew up expecting.
Whatever it is.
Right? Yeah, so once I was able to start embracing the idea of letting go of those arbitrary markers, then all you see is the progress. Then you see the trajectory. And that matters much more than the benchmarks.
How has that helped you independent of your children?
It's helped me be more forgiving to myself. Realizing that progress is important, not necessarily the end result, but it's not the destination, it's the journey. This is the journey that's interesting, and it's the journey that helps us see ourselves in everyone around us. Helps us see each other's humanity.
A little more empathy, a little more grace.
A little more empathy,
internally
a
and
little more
externally.
grace, a little more understanding of how far people have come, as opposed to how far they have to go.
And you say you're not a poet.
Yeah. No. Just maudlin.
Maybe I should retitle this like How to Be a Human Being or something like that, I keep playing with all these names and I'm like, which one works best? But landed on Voice of Memory, but TBD. We'll
Nice.
see.
Yeah. I don't know. How to be a human being.
What Comes Next is another one that I thought
Yeah.
about as you were speaking. So
I don't know. There's always something. Coming next. But yeah. I don't know. So now my kids are teenagers and they're starting to be almost functional humans. They can just get at least one of them driving. That would be super helpful. I'm tired of being the only person who drives anywhere. I used to enjoy driving. I don't anymore.
I fucking hate driving.
I hate it so much. I hate it.
This is one of those things where you're like, I know you're on your own trajectory, but please,
For the love
fucking
of
hurry up.
God, take the goddamn test. Yeah. I don't know, because they're teenagers. They have their own, thoughts and desires and interests and want to be able to go and do things. I don't want to. I want to
Do
be.
things?
Yeah. I don't want to do things. I want to be at home. I want to lay down. That's what I want to do. I want to be in my house and not move. Possibly nap. That would be great.
Seems like the older I get, the more my free time I want to be peaceful and not
Yeah.
chaotic, because everything else feels that way.
Right. Yes.
When you're 7, you're like, I want to go on a
I
roller
want to
coaster.
go.
and
I want to do
chaos.
things
I want
that, yeah. No. I'm good. I'm good with excitement.
solitude.
I miss solitude. I miss that a lot. I'm never alone anymore. Occasionally now,
What makes you feel peaceful, even if it's little pockets of it these days?
That's a good question. It does make me feel peaceful. Having the luxury of unscheduled hours.
Say more.
A time that isn't planned. Like, I woke up this morning and I didn't have to do anything. There was nowhere I had to be straight away. There was nothing I had to be doing. I had no obligations. Just that feeling of, when you were a kid, how summer vacation just seemed so full of possibility, and weekends were just endless. You had all this time, you could do anything, and you were only really responsible for your own enjoyment.
Did you lose that feeling for a long time?
Yeah, because, taking care of other people. Raising children, they, require a great deal of care and feeding and driving and folding their tiny clothes. And
So back in the day when you had unstructured time,
yeah.
did you appreciate the luxury of it? Or
Oh,
was
I
it more
did.
of a-
I did even then. Yeah. But I just got to enjoy it a lot more of it than I do now. So yeah, if I get to sleep in, or if I get a whole afternoon where I don't have anything I have to be doing,
So what do you do when you have nothing to do?
I do nothing. It's
What
marvelous.
does nothing look like?
It could look like many things. I don't know. I mean, this morning yesterday and today I cooked.
Goat.
Huh?
Goat.
Goat, yes. Also, I don't know. I made a French toast casserole and prepped up the goat, and I put a marinade on it and put it in the fridge, and then I made dinner last night.
Do you like to cook these days?
I do like to cook, but it takes time. And it's often not enjoyable. because it's a job.
Do kids like to cook?
Somewhat, yeah. They're getting better at it.
It's the same thing, maybe like time.
Yeah.
Time consumption of it all.
Yeah. One likes to cook, not so much clean up after himself. The other one likes to cook somewhat, but is, I don't know, is a little less experimental. needs a recipe, you know. It's more,
Oh, I'm so much of a hand measurer when I cook.
yeah, more cautious. Yeah, you measure,
I just mean literally, I take like a handful, pinch. or
right,
something
yeah,
like
no,
that.
you measure that shit with your heart. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it. Measure it with your heart. That should be the title of your upcoming cookbook, I think.
Like, I don't know, you just measure that. Is that enough butter? Is it though? You
If it's
probably
not,
have more
we can
butter.
put more, yeah.
You should probably have more butter. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited to see how this goat turns.
So what does community look like these days? You mentioned that several times, how important at various points in your life the community and friendship has been.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you now?
It's shifting. I'm actively trying to re-engage with people.
What kind of
Meet
people?
any kind of people, all sorts of people. It's, I don't know. Wherever you can make connections, it's worth the time. It's worth the effort. It enriches your life. Joined a community choir.
How do you like that?
I've enjoyed it.
Have you always sung in your life? Or
When I was younger in school.
how has it been to rediscover that?
It's been
passion?
nice. Yeah, it's been really nice. I've enjoyed it a
What kind of
lot.
songs do you sing? Anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, the choir that I sing with is called the chorus, so there's always a particular program, a set list. We've done Broadway, standard choral pieces, and
Where do they do this at?
practice at the Community United Christian Church, CUCC, and then there's another Christian church that I practice at sometimes. They perform at various venues. I always perform at Pride Fest.
This past year?
Yeah. Yeah. They just have a big fundraiser for Pride in June. A fundraiser concert at the Pino. I sat this session out. I didn't perform this year, but I like it. I really do.
This is like the most on-the-nose segue probably I've ever said, but what's significant about Pride to you in your life?
Well,
I know that sounds really pointed, right? But we've spoken a little bit previously
Yeah,
about
no,
your kids.
yeah, I have queer kids. And I have queer friends, and I just want everyone to feel safe and loved and valued, and
I've always gotten that vibe from you every time we've spoken.
yeah, I don't know. And as I've started, stepping back into the dating pool a little bit, I
I don't know. It's, I seem to attract young bisexual men.
It's very specific.
It's a very niche market. Yeah, I niche marketing. I don't know.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, fine. Feel fine about it. I'm just a little back. Why me? You know, why? What is it? What is it about me that's appealing to young bisexual men in their 30s, say, or late 20s, early 30s?
Aura of sorts, right?
What?
Must be an aura of sorts.
Yeah, and well, I asked my kid. I said, what is that about? Is there something, you know? Is there something that I'm giving out that's specifically appealing? Or is it just that so many more young men are more comfortable with their sexuality, and there are just a lot more bisexual men now than there would have been when I was last dating?
What was the answer from your
Uh,
perspective?
Well, my kid said, yeah, probably some of the latter, but he said, no, gays love you. Look around, everybody. All my friends love you. Gays love you. I said, yeah, well, I've got big hag energy. I don't know. Always have.
What more validation do you need in life, I guess, right?
I guess. Like, I don't know.
What's it like being a parent to a queer child? And I should say, not in a way to just differentiate, right, or put them on a pedestal. I just mean like,
Yeah.
what's the experience
Um,
as they start to feel comfortable expressing this more outwardly or emotionally to you?
It's, well, it would have been a real issue that we had to tackle as a family if my husband had still been alive, because he had less trans friendly opinions. He really struggled with accepting the very concept of being transgendered.
But that was never something that was broached
No,
when he
no,
was
never
kids.
came up when he was alive. Neither of my kids came out until after his death, because they were little. They hadn't, you know.
What was that like when they came out to you?
I said, okay. And that was it. And they were like, okay.
Maybe they built this up a little more.
They built it up a lot more than it was, you know. Especially when I was like, I think I'm okay. All right.
What's next?
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
So even still, and you know, as you say, okay, it's just you kind of accept it. What's the adjustment period like in terms of being supportive or
Yeah. So in terms of, you know, supporting a trans kid, well, then, you know, then you have to go and advocate for them a little bit and say, no, you know, yes, we're enrolling in school, but this is the legal name. This is the preferred name. This is, you know, we use male pronouns. We use these names.
was there resistance to that as you were going through some of these?
Sometimes, you know, I mean, the kids get, they get it a lot because, like, on your, you know, your medical insurance, you know, anytime you go to the doctor or the dentist or anything, they're like, you know, like, dead named. Yeah, you're going to get into, because that's your legal name. I just try to make the distinction between, you know, it's not personal. They're not dead naming you. It's not an attack. That's the name that's on all your stuff. That is legally your name. So, you know, when you're an adult, you want to change that, you are certainly welcome to do that. I'm not going to go do that. It's a pain in the ass to change your name. I've done it a couple of times. I would not recommend it. It's not great. But yeah, you know, when you're an adult and you want to do that, I'll support you, I'll help you, whatever. But, you know, and I've got one kid has changed the name they prefer to go by. Like, we're on the 5th one. And the other has been constant for like 5 years. I was like, nope, I'm this person. Okay. You seem awfully certain, so all right. You know, it takes me a minute to adjust to it. I really was, and it's still hard referring to them by their current names if I'm thinking or speaking about something that happened in their childhood. If it happened in the past,
It's a more complicated.
it's
identity,
yeah, it's
right?
like you're filed in a different folder in the memory, and it's
Do you ever have any form of grief over that?
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much anymore, or at least you've addressed it.
No, I think I've worked through it, but yeah, I had a lot of grief.
What was it about? I mean, maybe it's a whole big.
Well,
thing, but
it's
what was it?
about, I mean, because it came on the heels of grieving the loss of my husband, grieving the loss of the life I thought it was going to be, grieving the loss of everything I thought was a certainty. So yeah, sure, one more thing. Why not?
But yeah, grieving the loss of that, the relationship with my child I'd envisioned for the future. And, you know, that was never set in stone, and that was never a guarantee, but, you know,
It feels like you have to once again start over in a way, and
Yeah.
perhaps there's just the fear of like, am I up to this?
Look, if I stopped to, you know, question, am I up to this about every damn thing that requires me to be up to this, I'd never get out of bed. It's like,
But you do get out of bed.
most days,
Do it
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, most days. Lately I'm struggling, but
Have you ever been able to express that grief to them in a way that helps them to both understand
yeah,
what's
a little
like
bit.
from your perspective and also still feel supported and that you accept them?
To some degree, you know, I mean, they're young, so I gave them the abbreviated version of it. Because you're a kid, it's not your job to process my adult emotions.
Still helps them understand
yeah.
better, right?
Yeah. It's like, but yeah, it you know, I'm sad. I liked the feeling that we were a unit. You know, we 3 girls. And that felt like I was losing something, you know. It felt like a loss.
So what have you gained?
My kids' trust. They trust me. They believe in me. They know I've got their back. And even if I don't always get it right, it's certainly not going to be for lack of trying. And if I fuck that up, then I'll try something else. And if that turns to shit, then I'll try something else. We just keep going. Until it gets better. Until we make it better. Until we make the life we want.
And then you have a new problem, and then you have to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
And then,
Perpetual.
and then you adapt, and then the next thing comes down the pike, and you deal with that too. And
Hopefully, at the end of it all, we come to some kind of
yeah.
profundity,
Well, I don't know about that, but
or at least just an appreciation. for
just an
the journey
appreciation
you've been on, right?
and yeah, and a peace about it, and no regrets, and not. I don't want to be afraid to try.
So coming to that, do you still have regrets, or have you tried to reframe mistakes as just a
Yeah,
mistake?
I'm working really hard on reframing. Trying to be less critical of myself. Trying to be less critical of others, but that's easier for me than being less critical of myself. I don't know, just trying to be. Trying to be well-adjusted, trying to be a decent human.
Do you think that you would have come to that feeling without the experiences that you've had in life?
Well, I mean, probably, maybe.
One way or another.
I don't know. Yeah, one way or another.
Life is just an experience.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you encounter. I mean, I'm not grateful for the amount of loss that I've suffered.
Yeah, fuck that. I would, when people say
Yeah,
that,
no.
You don't understand until it happens, right?
Yeah, no, it's not actually, all part of some magnificent plan, or maybe it is, but
Fuck being certain about
but
that.
fuck being certain about it. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck if I know. But I don't know. But that's what living is about. Is caring, and if you care, you will feel loss.
You have to feel it all.
You have to feel it all. Yeah. And I'd rather feel too much than not enough.